We are recording. So welcome everyone to the AscentPad AMA with S3EK. We appreciate you taking the time to come and join us on our first AMA with S3EK. We appreciate the time you're taking out of your day to listen to this, perhaps after the fact, and listen to the recording. So we're going to try to keep things to the point and drop some alpha on you today as we light this candle, as I've been saying all along. So I think what I want to do, just high level, we want to talk about just a reminder to everyone who's been here before about AscentPad and what we are, but I think there's a lot of new ears here. We want to cover that. We want to talk to Rob, from the owner of S3EK, and we'll hear about S3EK today and what S3EK brings to the table. We're going to hear about a third project that we've been teasing all along. We'll drop that on you. We're going to talk about the relaunch and a few changes in the contract up and coming, but the relaunch is going to be the exciting part of what we want to talk about today and how we're going to accomplish that. And then we'll talk about next steps. And at the end of it all, we're going to wrap up. So just to start with, a little bit of a reminder of why AscentPad, what it will do for projects and investors. I put this in a public announcement. It's in the Telegram channel. It is pinned about LayerOne's acquisition of AscentPad. The goal with that acquisition was to strengthen the original founder's vision to create a safe place, not only for the AscentPad community, but the global blockchain community in general. And that sounds pretty lofty, but you got to start somewhere. And I just want to let everyone know that the original founder, Sean Powers, is here with us today as well, if you have any questions for him later. LayerOne is a registered cloud IT and cybersecurity company in South Africa. Our team of cybersecurity professionals works closely with members of the Council of International Investigators, that's CII. We work with Sean Pierce specifically from CII, which who's near where I am in South Africa, but his group is 420 private investigators in 72 countries around the world. And when there's a mandate issued or an arrest warrant issued, they can have boots on the ground hunting the criminals within 24 to 48 hours in just about any country on the planet. A couple of cases that we're involved in together here on this side is a case, you can look this up, Mirror Trading International, or MTI, and another one is AfriCrypt. I myself am working with our cybersecurity specialist, Liam. We're providing forensic evidence, and we're scheduled to show up in court sometime this month on the Mirror Trading International case. Our focus is on safety in the Web3 space, and we want to bring, again, further stability to the AscentPad commitment to help market participants find legitimate projects that they can feel confident investing in. That's why LayerOne is here, and that's why we're leading the project at this time. We mentioned in our announcement that we want to bring a rigorous vetting process to AscentPad through existing partnerships. One of those is the partnerships that LayerOne brings to the table. Another, we call these partnerships, just like you might be a Microsoft partner. As you know, there's no real sharing of revenue and stuff like that. So when we talk about partnerships, we put it in that context. The high quality contract audit and KYC processes that they already have in place will assure stakeholders that they can confidently buy into projects launched by AscentPad. That's our goal, but who is it that's going to bring that? And that is S3EK. So Rob's here to chat a little bit about that. And you know, Rob, I think the community wants to hear from your side, because we've been teasing it in the AscentPad community. We've been talking about it. What does S3EK bring to the table? Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, sure. And first of all, thanks for hosting. Thanks for having us. I see several of our team here, and we usually show up pretty, at least the core team, the security team, usually shows up in droves. So, and mainly because we take this very serious. We've been in this space for over a year and maybe probably since the token launched over a year ago, but we've been around for longer than that because we were running around fighting crime about 90 days just as a project. So we came into the space totally security minded, totally security oriented, just to help clean up. Many of the members, like most projects, have a bad taste with being scammed, me included. So I thought, with our background and that we are kind of an intellectual crowd, if we can get got, you know, then who's safe? So we set out on this mission to kind of do that, and we spent the first 8 or 9 months of our existence kind of playing dog catcher and going out and finding rogue projects, rogue devs, and reporting them best we could, and telling people to stay away. And we discovered Squid Games, about 12 days early before the big debacle, and we had a lot of problems getting people to even listen. And it becomes very frustrating, and so we've kind of migrated over to taking instead of playing the dog catcher type role, which is very important, but we weren't having an impact due to resources and outreach. So we just kind of moved over to the sort of preventative maintenance. I've said from my introduction to crypto over 3 years ago that this isn't about contracts and solidity and those things. It's about the people. And if I can tell you where to find the people, then that will straighten up the action. So because I can take a very, very complex, very safe project and make it very scammy. The same as I could take a terrible contract and make it very honest. So it's always the players behind that. So our KYC service, and we looked at what was out. We took a long time to develop these things because we didn't want to be your run of the mill. So we looked at what we thought were the best of the best. The CERTIC, Hyken type, people doing it. Not so much the lower end, but the higher stuff. And we wanted to overshoot what they were doing. They never became competition. We wanted to do what we wanted to take the best that this industry offered and improve upon it. And that's what we've done with our
Rob, if I can just interrupt there, and feel free to interrupt me as once I get rolling as well. But on that point right there, I found that interesting. You and I had a discussion about this before in terms of an audit and a CERTIC audit, a Hacken audit versus a S3EK audit. What are some of the things that S3EK does that a CERTIC and a Hacken audit simply don't do? And what's the value of those additional things?
Right. Good question, and thank you. The main thing is we looked at the processes used, and there are a certain amount of what we'll call a checklist. Everybody, CERTIC, Hacken, Solidity, those guys are all going to do the same things with an audit as far as they're going to check code. They're going to do a manual or an automated scan. They're going to check it for any malicious, what we would call severity markers, right? Like high risk or medium, high, low, informational, those things. And so that's kind of standard, and then of course they'll offer the recourse, which would be, correct this code or change this portion and all those things. But that's really about what an audit stops, with those guys. And they charge this an inordinate amount of money to do it. And then they take, 6, 8, 10 weeks to get it back to you. And there's really not much interaction. I know I've been on a team that received a CERTIC audit. I never talked to a soul at CERTIC. Never. I was never questioned. Never. I just simply got an audit, which says, yes, this will function as presented. Well, that's just not good enough. That's dropping the bar. And so what we do is we have said, okay, yes, we're going to do all these manual things and automated things that are still done, but we go deeper. If you look at our scan process and our process we use, a CERTIC may generate, say on a 2,000 line contract, CERTIC may generate a 14-page PDF, where we may generate a 22-page PDF. So, and I know it's a lot of tech mumbo jumbo and stuff, but it's important. But what we do is we say, okay, that's all great and recommendations, we'll work with the team. You know, our audit is not so much manual as it's interactive. So if you can't interact with our team, you can't get an audit from SEEK, because we are fully interactive, not manual, not automated, interactive. So we're going to take all components and put them together. So we're going to check socials, which is not done on any other audit, search tech or hacking. We're going to check all your social media, your website. We're going to check what the structure of your tokenomics, which is never checked during an audit. You know, and we're going to see if that works fiscally, right? If that's going to work year by year, if it's going to continue to work, or if your project is bleeding itself dry from launch. And we're going to make those things known. And also we're going to say things about, okay, how much liquidity are you adding? You know, if we see that you're doing a 200 BNB pre-sale and you're only going to add 10% of that to the liquidity pool, that's a security risk. So we let people address those things if they can. If not, we say, hey, this is a security risk and you should maybe take a look at it, avoiding it. You know, so just because you pay us for an audit doesn't mean we're running aid de camp to your side or to be your ally. We're going to report the facts as they stack up, you know, physically, economically, mathematically, and we're going to present those. And Jim and Darren, those guys really dig super deep into asking those hard questions. And, you know, and it gets heated sometimes, you know, with audits. And you know, we have to say, look, you know, we understand what you're doing. And it has to serve a function. We just have to be able to explain why it's there. And if you can't explain why it's there, we have to call it a security risk. So if we made a battle card, and you and I had talked about that, Kelvin, you know, it really, it's almost like we're grandstanding because it's so lopsided. All the things that we check that they don't, it looks like that we're kind of grandstanding, but we're really not, because I think that those things should all be checked anyway. So the socials, the website, the team background, you know, what's your experience in crypto? Have you been involved in other projects? You know, we have to do a video interview? You know, we're going to do an audio interview. You know, that's not done on any other audit. You know, so, and we do all this. Here's the great thing: we do all this in a third of the time and for a tenth of the cost. Wow. Because we want to help safe projects to get on the market. You know, because I'll tell you, listen, we talked about the John Q factor, right? And that is, you take a good man with good intentions and you put him in a very volatile situation, and he will do bad things. It's proven. Very good men act badly when desperate. And when you start out with somebody on a project with a $30,000 negative, you know, setback because of an audit, that's irresponsible. You know, so why not get all that done? It creates desperation right from the start. It's certainly desperate. You know, you have to perform. And if you have a little stumble at launch or something doesn't go quite right, then you become desperate and you go, you know what, I can't lose everything. I've got to pull it in. So there goes the liquidity. There goes something. You know, you sell tokens, or, you know, and that's the terrible thing about all that, is that, you know, it's just not. We think that they're part of the problem instead of part of the solution. You know, and when you claim to be security minded and out for the best for the space, and you are part of the problem, we take offense to that, and we also have great issue with that. So, right, you know, it's just, we try to be refreshing and you know, and listen. So when you and I talked, and I heard we talked about Sean's vision, right, and we talked about I got to look at Ascent and the pad, and we talked about these free launches and being able to tie the other project we'll talk about shortly, integrate things in and different, you know, so it's like creating an entire task force, so to speak, right? A whole conglomerate of security specialists. And that we're each, it's like a hand in a glove, where we don't have to do everything from A to Z. We can do A, B, and C well, and you do C, D, and F well. And when you bring those things together, it's this big cohesive gel, you know. And so, of course, we want to, you know, be a part of something that's really revolutionary, innovative.
Yeah, I like that idea too. And like you said, we've chatted about that before. It just seems like a really, really good fit. But I'm going to ask a really hard question. I know personally I've been scammed. I know others in the group who've been scammed. I know you've been scammed. It's happened, I think, to all of us. It's a very embarrassing experience. And as much as we would like to prevent bad things from happening to our money, here comes the hard question. After we do all of this to make sure we're launching quality products, does that guarantee that our investors will never lose their money?
Well, it doesn't guarantee that you'll never lose money, because we can't predict the market. Okay, the market's the unpredictable portion. But with the right support, we can guarantee that what I can guarantee is this: this is an alarm clock crypto project, right? This is an alarm clock partnership, sister projects. You could call it anything you want. Like you said, the active partnerships that don't share revenue, right? But it's one hand washing the other. What I can promise and guarantee in writing is that these projects investors will never lose money as a result of a scam, as a result of nefarious act. So, I call it alarm clock crypto for this reason. Any of us who have been in the game and have been scammed and have been nervous and have been involved in projects that were, we have that mentality that I got to get up at 3 a.m. and check my bag to make sure that my money's still there, and so this is when I say alarm clock crypto, I mean, don't set the alarm. Sleep till morning. I can't guarantee a 50x. I can't guarantee a 100x. But what I can guarantee is that when you awake, your bag, there will be no one that has stolen your money. Your investment will be safe.
I like that. Alarm clock crypto. So you set your alarm to wake you up in the morning. You don't stay awake all night watching it. Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Exactly.
It's a good one. Yeah, I think another valid point here too is we can do all of this, but it doesn't mean, like you said, it doesn't mean the markets won't go bad. So we can still see a project failure. That can happen. And if there's a project failure, of course, we know who the project owners are. They may even consult with us prior to launch. They might consult with us post-launch. They might consult with us when things are going bad. We'll likely recommend, give back to the community what you can and be honest about it. So I think the one thing that we might want to just punctuate at this point is, despite the fact that we're going to be launching a trustworthy project to let you sleep at night, it does not negate our own personal requirement to do our own research and take responsibility for the decisions we make. That's another aspect of investing. We're not going to encourage anyone to ape into a project. If you've got lots of money, go ahead and pour lots in, but that should only still be a fraction of your total bag. You shouldn't be aping into these projects and doing stupid stuff like that either. Absolutely. So the projects can still fail, but they're not going to fail because somebody rugged. That's the crux of it. And even if they do, right, then we have this mechanism in place, right, that we are going to know where they are, who they are, how to get them, and someone files a report, we'll show up fully 100% determined that we will do everything in our power to make sure they have a very, very famous afternoon. Exactly. Yeah, and that's where, if our next project that we want to talk about eventually gets fully funded, we're going to have the capacity to chase down some of these criminals ourselves. That's what our goal is. We want to put a dent in it. We want to at least try to make an example out of some that might try to get away with this. And we won't necessarily go after just criminals that might try to pull a fast one on us, on our platforms, or in our communities. We'll go after anyone if we're funded. That's what we're going for here.
Right.
And so is there anything else you want to add about the SEEK side of things that SEEK brings to the table before we get on to the secret sauce that we're going to leverage here in a few minutes?
I will say one thing I've kind of held back, and most of, probably all of my team, except maybe one person that is not really aware, is that because of this being so big and being such a big mindful part of security and things, is that we are, and I am developing, looking into laying out the roadmap because of this partnership, to not only do we have the SEEK KYC, we have the SEEK audit. If you get an audit, the KYC goes with it. It's not, there's, matter of fact, we charge more money if you do not want the KYC with the audit. So that tells you how determined we are about the audit. But what we're looking into now is also integrating in and offering to projects the SEEK Shield. And what that will do is it's a continual monitoring process. We check in on the project, we watch liquidity, we watch trading, we watch for nefarious acts, we watch, the chart for selling and different things, where we can actually say, hey, not only do we know who these people are, not only have we looked over the contract, not only have we dove deep into all aspects of this project in this space, but now we're going to continue to watch this project, for 90 days after launch, so that we'll know that, because we found that 90% of all projects that go bad in the first 90 days. So if you can make it to that 90-day point, you have a much greater, 90% better chance of surviving. So if during those first 90 days, we want to offer that SEEK Shield to let, and that's to let the investors know that, hey, we're still on the job. This isn't about giving you a shield and a stamp and saying off on your way, you've already paid us. Now we want to continue to work with and help where we can. If a team gets into problems, if we see something going on that someone's actually afraid of, right? Or hey, someone can send us a message and say, hey, I know you guys do the SEEK Shield on booty in you, right? But there's something going on, and I would like for you to look at it. Then we can do that. So it's just another layer of protection, another layer of security, and we intend to do it really just at break even, because we want this to be a big deal. We want people
Very
to feel
cool.
more safe.
Very cool. I love that idea. So 90 days of monitoring built into projects that launch on AscentPad and are audited and KYC'd with SEEK. That's wow. Yeah, that is a really nice layer. I like that. And in the cybersecurity field, security comes from layers. You may or may not have noticed, for example, in the computer industry, you don't buy antivirus anymore. It comes as a layered package. It's called endpoint security, and it's called that for a reason, because it involves an element of AI now out there, and it involves several different layers inside your computers and layers out on the internet as well. So I like the SEEK Shield idea, incorporating SEEK Audit, SEEK KYC into projects that launch with us. So the big news for today is our funding mechanism. Something that doesn't get talked about too much in these communities and on Telegram is NFTs. So around the same time that AscentPad was launched in January, LayerOne also launched simultaneously, or embarked on the endeavor to release an NFT project, and it is called Crypto Bronto. Now it is a utility NFT, but it's also art. It's a little bit of a unique project, and it's on the Ethereum blockchain. We chose the Ethereum blockchain to launch this NFT because that's where the NFT market really is. Everything else doesn't seem to have or hold value the same way as an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain. So what does the Crypto Bronto project bring to the table as the third project that we've been teasing about, and how is it going to benefit everyone, and how are we going to use it for the AscentPad relaunch? Let me just tell you a little bit about the Brontos themselves. You're going to hear some things you don't normally hear in one of these AMAs, because if you spend time with the art community, you'll hear some very interesting descriptions, because it really is all about the art. So we did a bit of a crossover project between art and utility. The Crypto Bronto NFT project is a generative art collection that captures the innocence of childhood through clean lines and bright colors. It's a family-friendly project. They're a tiny bit goofy, but a couple of unique things to the NFT world in general is that they are 8K in size, and these art pieces hold something we refer to as secrets. And these secrets can only be seen if you zoom in. That's why they're 8K. This also speaks to the security or cybersecurity side of the things we do and the safety we want to bring to this space. This NFT, as a result of the way we incorporated these secrets, they are sniper resistant. So rarity snipers is something you'll hear about. They can't snipe these because, well, the secrets are hidden in the art itself, and some of them are quite rare. There are 10,000 overall in the collection, and the Brontos will be a key to unlocking perpetual payback for their holders. Sound familiar? Also, for creators of art, there will be creator benefits in the up-and-coming project. We currently name it Wackadoodle, the Wackadoodle app NFT marketplace. We're going to build that through funding via the Crypto Bronto project. So join us as we reward our communities, create a safer place for all of Web3 and the blockchain enthusiasts that are part of it, and continue building with us the most powerful crime-fighting community on the planet. Now that is the Crypto Bronto NFT message in a nutshell. So how are we going to use this in the AscentPad relaunch? Well, hang on, you've heard me say relaunch, and for the community listening in now and who might listen in later, why is it not called a migration? Well, the elephant in the room has already been addressed. There's a public announcement. It's been pinned. The liquidity pool was stolen, so we have to go from a migration. Now we're going to do a relaunch. But how are we going to do that? And how is Crypto Bronto NFT going to play a role in this? First of all, nothing else has changed about what we've discussed. So let's start with that. The fundamentals of moving to version 2 haven't changed. We need to go to a version 2 of the contract because taxes are slipping. They're just not getting, we're not getting our dividends as investors the way we should be. So that still has to happen. The airdrop, as promised, that's going to happen to all current token holders as promised in all previous public messages. So how then is the Bronto project going to play a role as a funding mechanism? Well, first of all, to those of you who have been part of the AscentPad journey from the beginning, we don't want you to feel like because we have to relaunch now, we just don't want to feel you guys make you guys feel like you have to bear the burden here. That is not the case. And that's why we're using the Bronto project. This is something unique to these communities. It's going to add a little bit of life, I believe, to everything that gets done in this space. And it's an awesome way to invest in a number of things that we've already talked about. So let's start with why you should buy, or why someone should buy a Bronto. And again, the AscentPad community themselves, guys, you've carried us till now. So let's let all the newcomers join us now in the relaunch. But you know, anyone's welcome. The NFTs are available now. They've been on the blockchain for a couple of months, and you guys are welcome to buy into these. But let's explain how it's going to work. And there's a lot of detail here, so get your pens and pencils out. And then if there's still time, we'll open the floor up to some who might want to ask questions about this. Reasons to buy, or reasons to buy into the Crypto Bronto NFT. Number one, NFTs are still relatively new in this space. In fact, NFTs quite literally turned 5 years old on the 20th of September. There's a piece of trivia for you. I didn't know that until the other day, and one of our other projects piped up and said, yeah, the phrase non-fungible token was coined about 5 years ago, September 20th. So we're still relatively new, much like blockchain is relatively new. Remember where Bitcoin was in 2009 and where it is today. NFTs are new. So number one, the Crypto Bronto NFTs will increase in value because they aren't just utilitarian. They are a piece of unique art. Number two, the NFT platform that will be funded by the Brontos eventually, not today, but eventually, it's going to provide a reflections mechanism, for lack of a better word. We want to call them dividends. I call it perpetual payback. But on that NFT platform, which will be a safer place for NFT enthusiasts, all of the fees collected, a portion of the fees, not all the fees, sorry, the taxes collected are going to reflect back, much like they do for those who are familiar with the S3EK token and the AscentPad tokens. Reflections will reflect back into your wallet if you are holding crypto Bronto NFTs, and that's going to go on forever. So we have a perpetual payback token. We have a piece of art that's going to increase in value undoubtedly over time. Number 3, the Brontos that we are currently putting up. So the Bronto project, what we decided to do was redirect some of the funding from the Bronto project straight away. So instead of funding the NFT platform, we are currently using the next couple hundred Brontos to fund the AscentPad liquidity pool. So we put a line in the sand, Bronto number 144 up to Bronto number 600. These Brontos are going to be special in that they will not only receive dividends from the NFT platform up and coming in the future when we build that, they will also receive dividends from AscentPad, just like AscentPad token holders receive taxes and reflections. Those who are holding the Brontos will also receive taxes and reflections as if they were actually holding Brontos. But wait, there's more. If you hold 10 Brontos, we will be giving you a 20% bonus. So after the launch is over and we've hit Bronto number 600, we will, from the ones that follow, be sending you 2 additional Brontos. That's a 20% bonus to hold in your wallet if you currently hold 10 Brontos at that time. We wanted to make this exciting, and we wanted to give you some reasons up front to get your hands on a Bronto and help us relaunch this as quickly as possible. Now, the tokenomics of the Brontos itself. So here's the download on that. So how's it going to work? So if someone buys a Bronto, what happens to the funding? Because this is Ethereum, you're going to be paying 0.09 ETH, which is around $100 to $130 depending on the value of Ethereum. And right now Ethereum's dropped today. It's in the $1,200 range, close to $1,300. So what happens when you spend your money grabbing some Bronto NFTs? In the contract for the Brontos, we already have built in, it was our choice to build in a 5% payback to the developers who dev'd it for us for free. It's open source. I know the dev personally. It's an awesome team. We'll introduce you to them sometime too. 5%, another 5% of these fees go to the artist. 10% of the Bronto NFT will go to Crypto Bronto itself, which we will set aside then to, we want to actually set some aside so we can actually buy some of the ASP V2, the AscentPad V2 tokens and do marketing with those. We decided that instead of diverting the rest of the funds to the Bronto and the Wackadoodle project, we're going to devote 80% of these sales to the AscentPad liquidity pool. And then 100% of the estimated mint value you will receive what we're referring to as token credits linked to your wallet. So when you spend 0.09 ETH on a Bronto, we're going to take the 100% of that value and give you credits. Are we giving you tokens? No, but we're going to track your wallet addresses and we're going to give you credits that will be linked to equal to as if you had AscentPad tokens in your wallet. Why would we do that? And how are the credits tracked? Well, we're going to track the credits because we don't need 1,000 investors to accomplish our goal here. So we're going to track these. And essentially, I'll give you a little bit of an idea of what that equates to. If you buy a Bronto today at a value of $1,300 in Ethereum, you're going to spend 0.09 of that. Buy a Bronto, it's equivalent to about 30,000 ASP tokens, AscentPad tokens, per Bronto NFT. We're going to credit that for every NFT you hold in your wallet. We're going to give you credit to that. That weights how much you actually hold. As if you were holding AscentPad tokens, and you know how that works in the taxing system. Your dividends get paid based on how many tokens you hold. So you won't be holding real tokens. You'll be holding Bronto NFTs that are equal to about 30,000 tokens each, and you'll receive reflections immediately as soon as we launch, which is coming sooner rather than later. So not only do you collect reflections from AscentPad with these specific Brontos, you will collect future reflections from the NFT platform, and you're holding some cool pieces of art that you can put on OpenSea later. They're all hidden right now, but you can put them on OpenSea when we do the reveal after we get a good number of them sold. So again, this means you will not receive actually tokens, but you will be included in the tax and dividends and reflections according to how many Crypto Bronto NFTs you hold. That's the breakdown. Those tokenomics that I've just explained, for those whose heads are spinning, I'm going to drop that in the Telegram channel so everyone can see for themselves how that's going to work. I do want to keep moving forward because I do have a hard stop coming up. So I just want to address a couple last things. That was the big news. We hope that flies. We're hoping to do an AMA with Rob in other places as well, and introduce the Crypto Bronto project for funding our relaunch. A couple of changes to the contract that we did decide on. Staking has always been it's challenging to dev, it's challenging to look after, especially when there's rewards related to it, and it ties up tokens unnecessarily because it's not as simple as it sounds like it should be. So rather than have a percentage earnings for staking. Our staking periods are very short anyways. They're always less than a month at a time. So then you can stake and restake and keep earning. But so we decided to take out any kind of earnings related to staking. Staking will still be required, signaling that you want to buy into a project. That's what the staking mechanism is for. And then you stake according to your tier. But what we're going to do, rather than give you a percentage of interest paid on your stake tokens, we've decided to increase the taxes from 8% total to 10%. That means from 4% to 5% in reflections or dividends. So that extra 1% in dividends is going to compensate for that. And we think it's actually going to compensate even more than trying to earn 11 or 12% interest by staking your tokens. So 5% of our taxes are going to go to these dividends, and they will be sent to your wallets monthly. 3% will go to operations because it's a total of 10. So the other 5% is 3% to operations and 2% to marketing. And we'll balance that between operations and marketing if we need more marketing. That's the biggest change on the contract up and coming, other than the fact that it is a tested contract. The contract we're going to use works already. It will be an AscentPad contract that will be SEEK audited, SEEK certified, and ready to go. So that's also.
Let me just, sorry, Kevin.
Jump in there, Rob,
let me
please.
just say that the contract is tried and true. It already, I could write an audit on it basically today. Very, very confident. We're going to make a couple changes in it. So the contract is functioning now. To kind of tweak with staking and different things, and just add, the bells and whistles for AscentPad. But you can rest assured that this won't be a malfunctioning contract. If like I said, I've tried to break it and can't. So it will be. I think you'll find it very a breath of fresh air. It's something you won't have to watch or worry about, coming apart or things not working because of a certain function. And they'll be eliminating certain functions like a swap liquidity and different things that hurt the chart. So I think that every current AscentPad holder, or it would be just tickled to death with what it is. And then of course anybody coming in the future will certainly know that it's 100% safe and secured, and the keys will be held and not shared, and it's just all around going to be a 100% safe and secure project. So market bearing.
Yeah, I love that. I'm an AscentPad holder, so I'm excited about this. I can only imagine everybody else too. So
market bearing. Awesome. I really believe that this is an epic development for all these projects, for SEEK, for Ascent, for Bronto. I think that we're moving forward and working together, and not only that, but we're going to expose. SEEK has a SEEK. We have a lounge. We have a SEEK system, and there's about 15 projects that are safe and vetted, and in that group, and we're going to get exposure to all that. So you're going to be exposed to 15 new groups that have no idea who you are at this point. So we're going to
That's
bring
awesome.
you to the lounge and then let you see this, cross pollination and kind of, this intermingling of communities. And there are a lot of investors there that would be very interested to hear about what's going on. And I got to tell you guys, Kelvin and I have spent a lot of time talking about this and putting these tokenomics together and saying, hey, this will work and let's not do this. And we've really gone over and above. And Kelvin has talked to Sean countless hours. I couldn't tell you. So.
Yeah.
We have been chatting nonstop. And I just want to interrupt for a second, if you don't mind, Rob.
No.
Yeah, I think one thing that you mentioned too, and what I'm looking forward to is, the community that S3EK has. So, these people that are approaching you and looking for audits, that also brings opportunities for AscentPad. And I think that's, a very, very beneficial part to the system. So, these tokens will obviously be approaching you in terms of security, and then you can kind of connect with Kelvin from there, and he can look at the companies as well and see if they have potential to launch on AscentPad. So
yeah,
it's
right.
Really
That's
good idea. I like it.
Yeah, that was a big bonus plus for us, is that we do get approached constantly by projects, and they're wanting a KYC and or an audit, or wanting help putting a contract together. And we just we have a couple places that we farmed out here and there and done different things, but having kind of this right in our yard, right is kind of interlocked and intermingled together will be a great opportunity for Ascent, Bronto, and S3EK all together. So, and I think that's the beauty, is that we take all these projects and we combine them together, and we all have a common interest of feeding this this world crime fighting organization, right? And each of us playing our part and helping fund that, is the ultimate goal. And certainly we want investors of each project to reap the rewards of that as we move forward. And I think the tokenomics and the way things are structured with all three will certainly do that. So as we're able to grow and meet the mission, investors will get to see, hopefully, what becomes huge returns. I'm excited. I'm not a very excitable guy, but I'm really excited.
I just got to say,
Go ahead.
one thing, if you don't mind.
No,
Kelvin?
sure.
No, I was just going to say, the past week or so, I'm sure it's been extremely stressful for everyone. But after listening to this telegram, I'm actually starting to get really excited. Like, I was looking forward to it, but after hearing you guys talk and all of that, I'm looking forward to it big time. Got to get me some of those Brontos as well now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think another element, I may have dropped the ball on the Bronto project. Once it's fully in force, we will be able to fund our team. I may have mentioned it, but we'll be able to fund our team. We'll be able to get Sean Pierce and the investigators from our side. We'll be able to get Liam involved in doing some of the blockchain tracing and stuff like that, because we'll be funded. We want to use that to give back to communities pro bono. That's literally what we want to do. And in harmony with that sentiment, that's why the Bronto project, we decided, okay, well, let's start giving back now. Let's sell some Brontos and give 80% of it back to the AscentPad community, basically, to help get AscentPad up and running again. And yeah, it's been in some exciting times. I'm actually really excited about this myself.
And to kind of to put it in perspective for people who don't know, Bronto or S3EK, but know Sean and what he's done with Ascent, is, listen, Kelvin approached me months ago and said, hey, I have this Canadian guy, and he's great with this, and he's developing that. And, would you like to look at maybe some, partnership? And I said, certainly, anybody security minded, I'm into. So when the opportunity came and Sean said, hey, let's go a different direction, it only made sense that, Kelvin is Bronto and I'm totally C, but we wanted to come together, right? And make this work for Ascent, because we really believed in what Sean had built. And we saw an opportunity here that together we could become this immovable object, right? Kind of an unstoppable force, because each brings such a strong component. A free launch pad with, that has security already done. We can even get to the point where we offer some contracts if people need it. We can let them launch our contract, and so we know it's safe. We know it's going to work. We know they can't hardly mess it up, right? So it's just very exciting if you look at it that way. We want to.
I think, Rob, I got to throw on the table here too. Like, if we get properly funded out of this, if we reach our target with the sale of the Brontos, we will have some funding to cover the costs of the first SEEK audit and the first SEEK KYC project that we want to launch on the platform. We will have that. So this is genuinely exciting, where it's not just free to launch, it's actually really free, but properly audited as well. So this is a really exciting time, really exciting opportunity. And I don't mean to plod forward, but I do mean to plod forward here, because I am literally down to a hard stop in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So what I want to do is just wrap up for recording purposes and stop the recording, and then we'll just play it by ear after that, and I'll explain to you why I've got this hard stop. So we've explained a couple of changes up and coming in the contract. We will post the tokenomics for the NFT launch publicly. There's nothing to hide there. We're really, really excited with these tokenomics. I think everybody is going to be too. So what's next? Well, the website has already been rehosted, so we have more control over that, and I'm working with devs currently to get everything in order there and finalize. Hopefully by November, we're fully functional and ready to go. In the meantime, let's just build communities and build communities and build more and get ready to launch on AscentPad. The new contract, Rob's already on that. That should be ready within weeks, and we'll get that online as soon as possible. And then lastly, it's just mint, and spread the word. Let's go. We'll do some more AMAs with SEEK as well and other communities. And I think just to wrap up the recording, if that's okay, I'll just say thank you for joining us to everyone. It's been awesome having you here. Thanks for listening. It's been a longer AMA than expected. I will do a TLDR or a TLDL, too long, didn't listen. I'll do a recording of that just privately afterwards, and I'll post that one as well. So again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to building the biggest crime fighting community on the planet. Click save, everyone. We're going to stop the recording here.